Over 2 miles here. Let's go through them. Number 1 is Snow Sky for Sir Michael Stout, one of the true legends of world racing. Ryan Moore, the defending Melbourne Cup winning jockey, takes the ride.
Well, it's clearly an ask with 58 and from an awkward draw, but his Caulfield Cup run was sound. He was close to that strong speed, held up a touch and battled on really well. His win in the prestigious Hardwick Stakes at Group 2 level was dominant, and ignoring the soft track miss in the King George.
2 is Criterion, a horse good enough as a 2-year-old to run in a Golden Slipper. Now as a 5-year-old, he's running in an Emirates Melbourne Cup. Michael Walker takes the ride for David Hayes and Tom Dabernick.
With even luck, he probably equals or breaks Might and Power's Cox Plate track record last start. He beat the McKinnon winner Galo Shop out of sight. He has world-class form lines that you need for this race. Just needs to run a strong 3,200.
Number 3 is the Japanese galloper Fame Game for trainer Yoshitada Manakata. Zach Purton takes the ride. He's got great form in Japan.
Just a fabulous Melbourne Cup trial in a high-rating Caulfield Cup run in fast time. Found all sorts of trouble, charged through the line. Big track here, 3,200 suits much better. And the speed he produced at the end of a fast Tenno show in Japan is reserved for world-class horses.
Number 4 is Our Ivanhoe, raced in partnership by Lee and Anthony Freeman. Lee, of course, winning 5 Melbourne Cups in just a sparkling career. He's back in partnership now with his brother. Ben Millam takes the ride. He was a Group 1 winner in Germany.
Rock solid in that high-rating Caulfield Cup on firm ground. No doubt, a bit of jar out of the track is what he wants. 3,200 metres, no issue. Of course, he ran well in the Japan Cup, remember?
5 Big Orange, winner of the Goodwood Cup at Group 2 level earlier this season in Europe. He failed on soft going in the Lonsdale Cup. Jamie Spencer rides for Michael Bell.
Yeah, well beaten by Max Dynamite there, but you've touched on the salient point. The track was soft. That's not his go. On dry ground prior to that, he raced handy and beat Quest for More, who's here, and the Caulfield Cup runner Trip to Paris. He goes in.
Number 6 is Hartnell. He was good enough to win over 2 miles as a 3-year-old at Royal Ascot in the Queen's Vase. He's now trained in Australia by John O'Shea for Godolphin. James McDonald takes the ride.
Well, he just raced like a horse looking for ground in that course record Cox Plate. He didn't quicken, but then warmed up really nicely through the line. He closed well prior to that in the Turnbull Stakes. He beat a world-class Japanese horse into the world in the BMW, remember.
Number 7 is the second of the Japanese runners in Hoko Brave. Craig Williams, he's long been booked for this ride. Craig's won Golden Slippers, Caulfield Cups, Cox Plates. He's yet to win a Melbourne Cup. Yasutoshi Matsunaga is the trainer.
He covered ground in a fast-run Caulfield Cup and actually held his ground well. He wasn't far off Fame Game in that Tenno show in Japan. Drying Tracker Plus. Look, hasn't won for over 2 years. Some knock.
Number 8 is Max Dynamite for a legend of racing in Willie Mullins. Equally a legend of racing, Frankie Dettori takes a ride.
Just raced away from a top-class field last time. In his wake were Trip to Paris and Big Orange. That was 3,300 metres. Look, he's a really strong stayer, and on that run, he's in it.
Red Cadeau is number 9. Always the bridesmaid. Will today be the day he's the bride? Ed Dunlop trains. Gerald Mosse, a Melbourne Cup winning jockey, rides.
Yeah, a long way from the winner last time, but he just simply never runs poorly here in Australia. He beat all bar one Protectionist in this race last year off similar mixed lead-up form, and they ran quick time.
10 is Trip to Paris again for Ed Dunlop. Tommy Berry rides, winner of the Gold Cup at Royal Ascot.
Charged out after Mongolian Khan in that high-rating Caulfield Cup. He had the race fastest last 200 split at the end of that distance. All reports were that day maybe 2,400 will be too sharp. Now gets to 3,200.
Number 11, Who Shot the Barman, 3rd in the Melbourne Cup last year. Blake Shin rides for Chris Waller.
And placed in a Sydney Cup, add to that, ran super in the Caulfield Cup. He came wide with no real card into the race. He kept closing. Gee, he's got terrific stamina, this horse.
12, Sky Hunter, again for Godolphin, this time trained by Sayed bin Saror. William Buick rides.
He's been first home in 3 of his last 4. He was disqualified in the miss and won that race easily. Dominant, winning the Group 2 Dubai City of Gold over 2,400 Maidan. He can sit closer to the speed. Chance.
He often knows how to win a cup. He's won a Ballarat Cup, a Sydney Cup, and now a Bendigo Cup. He's trained by Gay Waterhouse. Damien Oliver takes the ride.
He's tough. He drops from 59 off that strong Bendigo Cup win. And look, of course, he's no doubting his stamina. He won the 2014 Sydney Cup.
14 Grand Marshal, Sydney Cup winner of earlier this season for Chris Waller, and Jim Cassidy, 2 times a Cup champion jockey, his final ride in Australia's greatest race.
And that day, Sydney Cup, he beat last year's Melbourne Cup placed Who Shot the Barman, so it's easy to make a case for him. He was 4th fastest last 200 in the Caulfield Cup. He looks desperate for this trip. He's a chance at odds.
Number 15 Preferment needs to do what Farlap and Efficient did, win a Derby as a 3-year-old, come back, win a Melbourne Cup at 4 for Chris Waller and Hugh Bowman.
Forget the Cox Plate miss against the pattern. He ran as well as your McKinnon winner Galo shop. He beat horses like Amrella, who won the Herbert Power, beating Excess Knowledge in the Turnbull Stakes prior to that. He's the Derby winner here. He looks likely to stay.
16 Quest for More, winner of a Northumberland Plate over 2 miles at Newcastle in the UK. Damien Lade, his first Melbourne Cup ride for Roger Charlton.
He missed out on a Caulfield Cup run, of course, then beat home Caulfield Cup runner-up Trip to Paris in the Goodwood Cup. I'm forgetting Geelong happened. He did a stack of early work early in the race and faded.
17 is Al Moonquith, winner of the Geelong Cup for David Hayes and Tom Dabernig. Dwayne Dunn in the saddle.
He was so strong winning that Geelong Cup in slick time, beating a horse called Dandino, who had just run so well in the Turnbull behind Preferment, who many are tipping. They gapped the third horse. He'll run the trip. Live chance.
18 Kingfisher, runner-up in the Gold Cup at Royal Ascot. Colm O'Donoghue rides for Aidan O'Brien and Team Williams.
Struggled a bit on soft ground last time, but produced his best run of the year when an unlucky runner-up to the Caulfield Cup placed Trip to Paris in that Gold Cup.
19 Prince of Penzance, the female rider Michelle Payne up against the boys, taking them out here, trained by Darren Weir, and of course Stevie Payne doing a wonderful job strapping the horse.
Gave a huge sight in the Moonee Valley Cup, running track record time, beating all bar the United States, who many are tipping, and had 57. Drops to 53 here.
The least experienced runner in the race, number 20, Bondi Beach. He's a 3-year-old by European standards. He's only had 5 starts. Brett Preble rides for Aidan O'Brien and Team Williams.
Look, his last 2 runs have been terrific. Involved in heavy bumping duel last time, never shirked the task. He won the Curragh Cup, was beating Order of St George at just start number 3 in June. That horse at that time was about 3rd favourite for this Cup.
All of Geelong will be cheering on number 21, Sartorius, for Jamie Edwards. Craig Newitt, the Derby winning jockey on Saturday, takes the ride.
He found trouble mid-race at Geelong. His late splits in the Herbert Power prior to that was sound.
22, the United States. Joe Moreira in the saddle for Robert Hickman and Team Williams.
He was better than the Geelong Cup winner, Al Moonquith at Caulfield. Had no hope, Moonee Valley against the pattern, and then beautifully ridden to win the Moonee Valley Cup and took the track record with him.
23 is Excess Knowledge, winner of the Lexus on Saturday to force his way into the Melbourne Cup. Kerry McAvoy rides for Gay Waterhouse.
And did it against the pattern of the day. Terrific effort after covering ground. His lead-up form at Caulfield, he took 4 lengths off Amrella in the run to the line. Many were tipping Amrella to win here.
Number 24, Gust of Wind, needs to emulate what Lightfingers did on this day 50 years ago by winning an ATC Australian Oaks and then a Melbourne Cup. Chad Schofield rides for John Sargent.
Close to the strong speed Caulfield Cup, didn't quicken but really went through the line. I liked what I saw there. She thrashed a horse called Winks in an ATC Oaks. She goes in for mine.
All right, give us your top 4, Gator, as the field makes their way out onto the track for the Emirates Melbourne Cup.
All right, punters at home, if you're not already on, just back your own judgment. But I'm with 3 Fame Game for the record. 2 Criterion, 10 Trip to Paris, and 8 Max Dynamite.
Amazing scenes here at Flemington. A massive crowd here as the horses make their way out on the track. Let's hear from some of the jockeys as they made some comments on their way for the start of the Cup.
Alrighty, here they are heading out onto the track for the big one. Only 5 minutes away.